Dear learners, welcome to NI Studio. Today we'll discuss about major social problems in India of your book Sociology at senior secondary level. So in this session we'll discuss about the literacy situation in India. We'll also discuss about the population explosion and its problems. We'll also understand corruption as an evil practices and also describe poverty and its causes. Let us discuss the literacy situation in India and how illiteracy is a social issue. Let us understand who is literate person. A person aged 7 and above who can both read and write with understanding in any language is treated as literate as per census of India. It is not mandatory to acquire formal education to be counted as literates. You might have seen that there are people in the Indian society who has better knowledge but they are not formally educated. So we can also call them as literate. You might have seen there are many Padma awards who has done exceptional services to the country in terms of in agriculture, in occupation, in medicine, traditional medicine. They may not be formally educated but they have the skills, so we can call them illiterate, rather they are the asset for the country. So it is not that going to formal education can qualify someone as literate. There is a immense relationship between literacy and development. You know, those who are literate, they have the better awareness of rights and duties. They know whom to vote and whom not to vote. Similarly, those who are literate, they better care their health and nutrition. Also, they care about the health of family and also provide nutritious food to their children. So you might have seen, if you compare between literate and illiterate, you will say those who are literate, they are able to take better care of health and nutrition of themselves and also their family members. Similarly, those who have higher qualification, they are able to get better employment, and and once they get better employment, they are able to educate their future generation. They are able to provide better health and nutrition to their families. So you might have seen that those who are highly literate and highly qualified, they are able to get better employment in their respective domain. Similarly, those who are educated, they are able to educate better their future generations. We might have seen those who have higher qualifications, their children are more qualified than those family members who are less educated. So there is a better relationship between education and employment and also education of future generation. Similarly, those who are educated, they gather more scientific skills. They know how to. If you compare, you will find that there are people who are lowly educated or they are illiterate. They are still have strong belief on blind belief and prejudice attitude. Let us understand the literacy rate in India. If you will see, year by year it has increased. If you will see, in 1951, there are only 18.3% population are literate. But now it is 74.0 for 2011 census. So there is a more than four time increase between last 60 years. But if you see the male-female literacy gap, it is always higher, although it has decreased in 2011. You will see there was 18.3% gap in 1951, which has increased to just 26.6% in 1981. But slowly it has decreased. You will see in 2011 census, the male-female gap is only 16.68%. And as you are moving ahead, because thanks to the various schemes and programs of the Government of India, for which the literacy rate has decreased. Literacy rate has decreased between male and female when talking about the male-female gap. As I told you, you can see the graph how it has in 2000 1961 it has increased, but slowly the male female literacy gap has decreased. We can also see the rural urban literacy gap. We'll see in India it was 16.4.8 in 1974. If we talk about rural urban literacy gap, it was 58.7 in 2001, and it has increased to 68.9%. But you'll see in 2000, if we'll talk about urban gap, it has really. So there is a gap, still gap between rural and urban literacy gap, and so therefore you are able to see how it has translated into the developmental gap between rural and urban areas. As urban areas more highly educated population, so the development is more in case of urban area, but since there's the low literacy rate in rural areas, so the development is also very poor in case of rural areas, although there are also other factors related to it. Similarly, if you talk about the country-wise comparison, you will find the Kerala has 93.9% as per 2011 census, and Bihar has 63.8%. So we can see how the literacy rate is the main factor of development. Therefore, you will find Kerala 93.9% is the highly advanced state in comparison to Bihar, which is where the literacy rate is only 63.8%. You also see the female literacy. Kerala has also 91.98%, highest female literacy rate in the state in the country, while Rajasthan has 52.66% in case of female literacy rate, and also in bottom 5 states, Uttar Pradesh also comes, which is 59.26%. So from here you can also imagine how female literacy is also the indicator of development, because when the female is literate, it says that the whole family is literate, and the developmental indicator is also high when the female is literate in home or state or any community. You can see the 5 states with the largest proportion literate women, that is in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal. They account for 53% of all business establishments owned by women nationwide, although not more than 33% Indian women live in these states. What are the causes of illiteracy? One is poverty, one is population growth, lack of awareness, improper implementation of education policy and programs. If we'll say if the poverty rate is higher in the family, so the family less likely send their child to school. So the statistics reveal that girls belonging to the families in top 20% get 9 years of education on average, while girls from families in the bottom 20% get none at all. You can also see in case of scheduled tribes, the dropout also more than the other group of learners, because the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe population, they are not able to feed their stomach. They are not able to send their child to school because they are not able to provide proper food to their children. And so since the child is not able to get enough food, so they are not able to go to the school. So therefore, poverty has a direct relationship with illiteracy, and therefore you can find the families who have higher income group, they are able to send their child to school, and also are able to provide a better education than the families which have less income. Because they have less income, they are not able to provide food, nor the clothing, nor the books to their children. And on the other hand, they are also engaging their child in different kind of occupations. So the child is not able to go to school. So poverty and illiteracy are directly related to each other in case of education. Similarly, you can see population growth is also one factor in the country. The way population is increasing, जैसे population बढ़ रहा है उस हिसाब से स्कूल नहीं बढ़ रहा है. तो जब स्कूल नहीं बढ़ रहा है तो क्या हो रहा है, बच्चे स्कूल जा नहीं पा रहे हैं. So you will find as per the student population, school number of schools are also very less. And similarly, now the school also being closed in different in different states, because the school, the teachers are not, the students are not going to school because the parents feel that sending the child to government school is not providing any benefit. So there is a perception. So as a result, the student population is decreasing in some of the schools, and the state government are taking a decision that if the school does not have enough students, so they are closing the school. So therefore, low school student residue and population. Similar teacher availability. The way teachers are retiring more, and the recruitment is also very less. So therefore, you'll find the teacher availability is also a major issue in the country. And you'll find in most of there are many schools in the country which is run only by the one teacher, single teacher is running the whole school. And then teachers are also being appointed in various non-teaching tasks like election duty, different census work, election duty, also during COVID duty. So teacher availability is a major issue. And as population growth is there quality schooling, so therefore the parents feel that if the school is not providing proper education, so there is no point of sending child to school. So therefore the parents prefer that the child go to the work than sending the child to school in many tribal areas or remote areas of the country. बट हमें स्टूडेंट को बताऊँ वो पढ़ने के लिए जाना चाहिए, पढ़ना चाहिए ताकि वो आगे जाके कुछ कर पाए. सो इसलिए और आस पड़ोस में लोगों को भी इनकरेज करना चाहिए ताकि वो स्कूल जाए, पढ़ेंगे तो फिर देश पढ़ेगा और एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी उनको मिलेगा. But we should thank Government of India that there are many schemes and programs such come up like Kothari Commission in 1964, National Policy in 1986, then we have District Primary Education Program in 1994. Now we have Samaru Shiksha Abhiyan, in which Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Rashtriya Madhyamic Shiksha Abhiyan have also been integrated in that. We have also Right to Education, which says that every child should go to school and they should have given the right to education. Now recently we have also National Education Policy 2020, which talks about education as the cornerstone to success and development of the country. जिसमें बताया जाता है कि एजुकेशन के जरिए ही हम आगे देश बढ़ सकता है. जब हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल का बात कर रहे हैं तभी हम अचीव कर पाएंगे जब हर कोई स्कूल जाए और अच्छे से पढ़े. और इवन हायर एजुकेशन ऑल्सो वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट. तो आप नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 देखेंगे तो उसमें बहुत एजुकेशन पर फोकस किया गया है. उसमें बोला गया है जो शेड्यूल्ड कास्ट, शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब से थर्ड जेंडर जो है या बालिका हैं उनके लिए पढ़ाई का प्रावधान किया गया है. और बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आप जब देखेंगे उसमें एजुकेशन को बहुत फोकस दिया गया है. और कैसे ज़्यादा से और मदर टंग एजुकेशन को फोकस, जिससे पहले होता था लोग मदर टंग एजुकेशन था नहीं तो जो बच्चे ड्रॉप आउट होते थे. तो उसमें बोला गया है जो अपना मातृभाषा है मातृभाषा में पढ़ना चाहिए क्लास 5 तक, ताकि वो मातृभाषा में वो कल्चर उनका ओरिएंटेशन रहे, कल्चर की तरफ पता चले. तो इसमें नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 में उसमें बहुत फोकस किया गया है. इस तरह ओपन स्कूलिंग जहां आप लोग पढ़ रहे हैं वो भी एक बहुत बड़ा साधन है जहां से जो नहीं पढ़ पा रहे वो पढ़ पाए. और इसमें जैसे बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं जो कि बस पैसा नहीं होता है, नहीं पढ़ पाते हैं, तो ओपन स्कूलिंग बहुत मिनिमम कॉस्ट कंपोनेंट है जो कम पैसा में पढ़ सकते हैं. और एनीवेयर एनी टाइम लर्निंग होता है. बहुत सारे जो बच्चे होते हैं या 14 साल की उम्र से ज़्यादा बच्चे होते हैं वो पढ़ नहीं पाते हैं क्योंकि उनके पास पैसा का साधन नहीं होता है या स्कूल बहुत दूर होता है. तो NIS में एनीवेयर एनी टाइम लर्निंग का प्रावधान है जहाँ पे बच्चे अपने हिसाब से पढ़ पाएंगे. इस तरह देखिए बहुत सारे जो थर्ड जेंडर होते हैं, ट्रांसजेंडर होते हैं जो कुछ सामाजिक बाधाएं के लिए वो स्कूल जा नहीं पाते हैं तो भी वो भी घर में पढ़ सकते हैं. या बहुत सारा डिसेबल पर्सन है जो दिव्यांगजन है जो स्कूल जा नहीं पाए कि उस स्कूल में ऐसा प्रोविज़न है नहीं, तो वो भी पढ़ पाए। जैसे हमारे इंडियन भारतीय सांकेतिक भाषा जो श्रवण बाधित बच्चे हैं, जो डेफ एंड हार्ड ऑफ लर्नर्स है, उनको लिए अपने भाषा में पढ़ने के लिए था नहीं। तो एनआईएस एक पहल लेके आया है जहाँ पे इंडियन साइन लैंग्वेज को माध्यम के रूप में पढ़ सकते हैं, जो 2021 में हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया उसको इनागोरेट किए थे। और तो भारतीय सांकेतिक भाषा में जो श्रवण बाधित बच्चे जो डेफ एंड हार्ड ऑफ लर्नर्स से उसमें पढ़ पाएंगे और उसमें एग्जाम भी दे पाएंगे। तो ओपन स्कूलिंग उस दिशा में बहुत काम के यहाँ पे पढ़ के लोग जो सपोज कोई हाईली जो बोलते हैं कि हाई आईक्यू बच्चे होते हैं जिनका वो भी चाहे सपोज उनको स्कूल में एडजस्ट नहीं कर पा रहे कि उनका जो इंटेलिजेंस क्वेश्चन है बहुत हाई है, हाईली इंटेलिजेंट है, तो वो भी घर में बैठ के पढ़ सकते हैं और एनआईएस के थ्रू एग्जाम दे सकते हैं। और एनआईएस में बहुत विषय होता है, 75 सब्जेक्ट है। सपोज कोई चाहे कि खेलने में अच्छा है या संगीत में अच्छा है, तो संगीत का विषय भी एनआईएस में दिया जाता है। और फिजिकल एजुकेशन योग है, जो सपोज कोई स्पोर्ट्स में जाना था वो भी पढ़ सकते हैं। तो इस तरह ओपन स्कूलिंग जो नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ओपन स्कूलिंग के थ्रू भी बच्चे पढ़ पाएँ और वो बहुत आगे जा रहे हैं। जैसे आप सक्सेसफुल लर्नर देखें, यहाँ से पढ़ के वो लोग लॉ का प्रोविजन है और बाहर जाके पढ़ते हैं। ओपन स्कूलिंग का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान है लिटरेसी एंड एजुकेशन में। अभी हम बात करेंगे पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन एज एन इशू। बात करेंगे पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन है क्या। पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन इज रैपिड ग्रोथ पॉपुलेशन, इट रिवील्स इंक्रीज इन पॉपुलेशन एट एन अलार्मिंग रेट. It occurs due to rapid fall in death rate without corresponding fall in death rate. There are different stages of population growth. Stage 1 का बात करेंगे तो in stage 1 both birth rate and death rate is high and due to lack of education and prevalence of traditional norms result in high birth rate. Even there is also lack of medical facilities leads to high death rate. If we talk about stage 2, here death rate is very low and also birth rate is very high. Because of industrialization, there is also improvement in education and health. So therefore there is a decrease in death rate. And similarly, attitude towards change of family remain also the same, leading to high birth rate. And in stage 3, both birth rate declines due to education and adoption of birth control. So there are 3 different stages of population growth. If we talk about India's population has jumped to 1.21 billion in 2011 census, showing an increase by more than 181 million during 2001 and 2011 census. And if we talk about our population, it is equal to the combined population of US, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Japan put together. If we talk about rural urban composition, it was in 2001 census it was 74.3, while urban population it was 28.6. For 2011 census it is now 83.3, while urban population is 37.7%. You can see how the urban population is increasing year by year due to industrialization and also availability of basic amenities. While in 1901 it was only 11%, it has increased to 17.3 in 1951 and then 27.4 in 2001, and now it has increased to 31% in 2011 census. So you can see how the graph of urban population has increased year by year because of industrialization, urbanization and also availability of basic amenities in the cities. पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन होने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा कारण इलिटरेसी, जिसे ए पर्सन इलिटरेट नहीं है तो वो दे आर नॉट एबल टू नो द वेरियस स्कीम्स एंड प्रोग्राम्स ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एंड ऑल्सो दैट मीन्स and they so illiteracy is the major issue of the population explosion. And self preference for son is also another reason. Even you'll go to various parts of the country, even after 70, more than 75 years of independence, still people feel that sun is very much required for their life, maintaining the life because of various cultural and religious region. जैसे बोलते हैं कि जब घर में कोई किसका डेथ हो जाता है तो बेटा जो होता है वहाँ पे अग्नि देता है वहाँ पे, तो श्राद्ध भी बेटा ही करता है, तो इसीलिए पीपल आर प्रिफरिंग मोर फॉर सन. This is the only reason. If we'll see the educated parents, even they also they also contribute to population explosion due to preferences for son child. Similarly, poverty is also another issue because people have the feeling that if they have more children, so they can be able to go to the workplace and they can earn income. So poverty is also another reason of population explosion. लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस ऑल्सो वन रीजन. लोगों को ये नहीं पता होता है कि if they can if they have the more child, so they poverty is also another poverty may be grasp them. So lack of awareness is also another issues of population explosion. If we'll see the total fertility rate, or the national total fertility rate came from 5.2 to 4.8 in 1971 to 1981 period, and from 3.6 to 2.2 in 1991 2017. So if you see, the Bihar reported the highest total fertility rate, about twice that of Kerala and Delhi, which scored the lowest. Therefore, you can see the state having the higher total fertility rate is underdeveloped than the states which has low total fertility rate. So the various regions of population experience lack of shelter, landlessness, poverty, illiteracy, low standard of living, unemployment, malnutrition, undernourishment, and growing migration and crime. So let us take a break, and after this we'll discuss about the regions of population explosion, then education, and then corruption and other kind of regions. So thank you very much. So if you have any kind of question, you can ask us at aosoc@ns.ac.in. Thank you very much.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से
और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना जीवन स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने,
Dear learners, in the last session we have discussed about the different social issues like illiteracy, what are the causes of illiteracy and how the literacy and development is related to each other. We also discussed about population explosion, causes of population explosion, and now we'll discuss the consequences of population explosion. Like when the population is more, there are also issues of lack of shelter and landlessness. If we'll visit the different metro cities, you'll find that how there are many people, they are shelterless and they are taking shelter in railway station, they are taking shelter in the roads. So the population explosion also leads to landlessness because the way population is increasing, the land is same, so therefore the situation of landlessness is very much in picture. And population explosion also leads to poverty and unemployment. You can see in the metro cities how the number of the way population is increasing, so the poverty rate is also increasing rate by rate, and also unemployment rate is also there, and also leads to illiteracy. As I told you, the number of schools are not decreasing the way population is increasing. And the parents are not able to provide enough study material, enough facilities to the children. Therefore, illiteracy rate is also increasing. Similar population explosion also leads to malnutrition and undernourishment. You can find that how the kind of malnutrition are visible in tribal areas, also in the remote rural areas also. And similarly, migration also rate is also increasing year by year. You can find how the urban population is increasing year by year, and it also leads to slums. You can find the number of slums are increasing in metro cities like Delhi and Mumbai. Now let us just the corruption as an practice. Corruption is an act by someone who is ready to do dishonest and illegal things in return of money or for something else they want, or behave in a way what is considered morally wrong. There are different forms of corruption, like social form of corruption, we can see where you can see the practice of nepotism, favoritism, dowry, dishonesty, immorality, and porticide are visible. Similarly, administrative form of corruption, you can see the payment of illegal gratification for getting work done in office, and making money from misuse of office and power to protest, contest elections. Similarly, utilizing criminals to win election. These are the forms of corruption. Similar, taking bribe and commissioning for getting the fund or sanction, looting public money with the trader is at the form of professional and bureaucratic form of corruptions. Similarly, also education corruption, where people are paying for admission and donation, free degree, diploma, certificate. These are called education corruption. Similarly, professional form of corruption are smuggling, black marketing, hoarding, profiteering, food adulteration, production of duplicate items. These are different kind of corruption. But why there is corruption? What are the causes of corruption? To make illegal things illegal on the basis of bribe or commission. Similarly, there are also लोग चाहते हैं कि they should have more and more wealth and consumer goods and high aspiration from jobs. Actually, when people they get the job, they feel that they have to enhance the status in the society. So therefore, they recourse to corruption and similarly to pay dowry, because India make है कि once the girl take birth from that day, the parents are thinking about how to have more and more money so that they can pay dowry for their female child. Similarly, to meet the expenditure on technical and higher education of children, people also recourse to corruption and to get required number of running the government, to collect the money for fighting elections. So these are the different causes of corruption. Let us discuss the poverty. What is the poverty? It is a condition of an individual in which he is unable, his income is so low that he is unable to feed or provide shelter for himself and his family members. Those who don't have such income are called poor. If we talk about urban poverty is the result of migration of rural people to urban areas for work and wages. They live in slum areas in unhygienic conditions. If you see the kind of corruption, you'll find what are the national poverty lines determine income. It says that if a family is earning more than 1,000, it is called urban poverty. If you see the number, the poverty line estimate how many are the below poverty, you can see in 1993-94 there are 40.3% who are in the below poverty line, but it has decreased to 21.9 in 2011 and 12. So thanks to the various schemes and programs of Government of India, so the poverty rate has decreased year by year. But you will see the rural, if we make a comparison between urban area and rural area, you will find the kind of poverty in rural area is still high compared to urban areas. What are the different causes of poverty? If you look at social causes of poverty, you will find in our society, scheduled castes still occupy the lowest position. They did not position in poverty, so they remain poor for centuries, generation after generation. If we make a comparison, find that 64% rural scheduled caste in Bihar are below poverty line against 2.2% of general group who are in people in Punjab. So we can find there is a gap of around more than 62% when you make a social comparison between rural SCs in Bihar and the general group population in Punjab. You can see the statistics how the gap between scheduled caste and other group of population is more than 20% both in the urban and rural areas. So therefore you can find that the scheduled caste, those who are considered untouchables, and since they have the low property, since they don't have, most of them are propertyless, so they are not able to gather more and more incomes, and therefore the poverty is much more higher in case of scheduled caste, OBC, and scheduled tribes also. A heavy expenditure and performance of social customs, tradition, rituals also make many persons poor. You might have seen in your nearby locality that how people are spending much more on their rituals and customs, and even they don't have adequate money, but they are celebrating on the money on their marriage, on birthday, and also various custom traditions, because India is a country which celebrate most of the rituals, more rituals. So even you can see that people also sell their land and property to pay dowry and also perform sradhas. Economic unequal distribution of land, you can find as unequal distribution of land is also very much rampant in case of, while Jamindars has much more land, but there are scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, they don't have adequate land. So unequal distribution of land also leads to poverty. Similarly, unemployment, low wages and indebtedness also leads to poverty also. If the people does not get adequate employment, so they are not able to get then adequate income, so this also leads to poverty. Political causes, improper policies. The government has many beautiful programs, but these programs are not implemented properly, which also leads to poverty. Similarly, heavy industries have adverse influence on rural and cottage industry. If we compare 1950s or before that, the country was very much self-sufficient, and even each family in the rural areas, they have some kind of occupations. Either they are busy in weaving or cottage industries. But after industrialization, these small industries have got poor performance, and they also got closed. But you can see now the government has various schemes and programs like Mudra scheme. The government is also supporting self-help group to set up their industries, and also various other schemes and programs have also come up, which has led women also to get employed. So therefore, now you can see there are many schemes and programs. Even the government also sponsoring various startup scheme. Through startup, this can be so. But political causes is one of the major issues which leads to poverty. Migration also one of the major factor of rural areas. Migration rural youth to urban area for work is increasing year by year. It has created slums in towns and cities, and you'll see slum dwellers don't have a proper house and sanitation. They live in unhygiene condition, and you can see once they migrate the rural youth from to urban areas. So you can see the agriculture, which was at one point of time was the main occupation in India, but now it has decreased, and so therefore when people migrate to rural areas, so even they also get the low wages because the job are less and people are more in urban areas. So migration is one of the major causes of poverty also. Similarly, religious causes also there, because people spend much amount on performing religious rites and rituals. So sometimes also they take loans on high interest rate from the money lenders. So therefore poverty is also much more. See, even natural calamity also, like you can see that the flood, cyclone, drought, earthquake, and it is happening in every parts of the country. So therefore you can see the natural calamities, which is major reason of poverty. You can see from cyclone and Odisha. They are in Odisha every year. You will find that some kind of small cyclone or floods are happening each and every year. Like if you see in 1999, super cyclone was there. In 2013, Farin was there. So year by year, although states is developing, but due to cyclone and flood, so the many of the money they have earned through their hard labor also got vanished because of this cyclone. So therefore, natural calamity is the major region of poverty in Odisha. Similarly, there are also physical causes like disease, illness, physically handicap, accidents, suicide. These are also major region of poverty. Suppose you can see that in during COVID-19, due to COVID, many families lost their earning member. So once they lost their earning member, it is very difficult to get additional income, and then So therefore physical causes also very much rampant, because आपका घर में जब अर्निंग मेंबर चले जाते हैं, देन एक नया अर्निंग मेंबर को खड़ा करने में टाइम लगता है, एंड दिस आल्सो लीड्स टू पॉवर्टी. And in India you can see that many female members in the family, they are not earning because they are burdened with the household work, and they did not have also the adequate qualification. So even if the one earning member of the family get died, so they are not able to get employment immediately. So these personal causes also affect family and society from the point of poverty. Illiteracy also leads to poverty. Illiteracy and poverty are related to each other, while illiteracy is responsible for poverty because they did not get adequate employment, and due to unemployment it also leads to poverty. Similarly, poverty also leads to unemployment or illiteracy. Similar, population explosion also is one of the major causes of poverty, because of division paternal property leads to landlessness, unemployment, or these also leads to poverty. Patriarchy also one of the major region of society, because when you talk to the patriarchy, so here is male domination, because families feel that when family members withdraw from work, they are not able to get employment, and so if you see the statistics, only 13% of farmland is owned by the women. The figure is even lower when it comes to the lower caste Dalit women who are single. So on the one hand, the female don't have property right, and they are not allowed to go outside for the work. So this also leads to poverty, because जब एक जैसे आप वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में देखेंगे, वहाँ पे दोनों हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ दोनों काम करते हैं, बट अब इंडियन सोसाइटी में देखेंगे वहाँ पे ओनली मेल मेंबर वर्क. So now the situation has changed a lot because of schemes and programs of government of India, like government is providing subsidies in and also low interest at the lesser cost when sanctioning the loan. And also in Prime Minister Awas Yojana, you might have seen that if the family, if the property is in case of the female person, they also get subsidies. So therefore now the situation is been changing, and we are hopeful that women also get more and more employment, and the family also support, so that our country can be developed, can also achieve the sustainable development goal. You can see India's female labor participation rate also fell to its lowest level since independence. While in 1970 to 73 it was 33%, but it has decreased to 17.5% in 2017 and 18. But you can see the women in India currently spend up to 352 minutes per day on domestic work, more than men. So if they spend such kind of time in outside the work, so they might the country might have benefited much than the what is currently benefiting. So poverty also related to patriarchy, and more female should be allowed to workforce, so that they can be the asset to the country in terms of income and development to the country. So dear learner, thank you very much. In this session we have discussed about different social issues, literacy rate, we have discussed about corruption, we have discussed about population explosion, and also discussed about poverty in this session. So thank you very much. If you have any kind of query, please send an email at aosoci@nis.ac.in. Thank you very much.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राह